Hi, do you know that situation? You've had a hard day and now you're exhausted. The first thing you do is grab or buy some calorie-rich food because you feel that you really need it now. Sometimes the problem isn't the food, it's exhaustion. And if you're a woman who has ever found herself standing in front of the fridge late at night, wondering why on earth you're hungry again when you've already eaten enough throughout the day, I want you to know that what I'm about to share may completely change the way you look at yourself and at food. Because for years, the weight loss industry has taught women to focus almost exclusively on food. If you're eating too much, it's the food. If you're gaining weight, it's the food. If you're not losing weight, it's the food. If you're struggling with cravings, it's the food. Food has become the number one suspect in almost every investigation regarding weight and weight loss. And yet, after working with women for many years, I have come to understand that food often gets blamed for problems it didn't create. And yet, people are continuously sold appetite suppressants, meal plans, injections, gastric surgeries, so that you eat less food, although the problem is not the food. It's not the cause. Sometimes food is just the response. Sometimes food is simply the messenger. The body wants to tell you something. And one of the common things I see in women is exhaustion, especially in those who have a job or business and a family. Yet it's not necessarily the kind of exhaustion that disappears after one good night's sleep. Today I'm talking about the deep kind of exhaustion that builds slowly over months, years, and sometimes even decades, until a woman no longer remembers what it feels like to be truly rested. The kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly carrying responsibilities, the kind of exhaustion that comes from being needed by everyone, the kind of exhaustion that comes from always being the strong one, the reliable one, the helper, the caregiver, the problem solver, the woman who keeps everything together while quietly falling apart inside herself. And if that's you, I want you to know that your body notices. Even when you don't, your body notices the sleepless nights, the stress, the emotional labor, the pressure, and that you've been running on fumes for far too long. Now imagine that you've spent the entire day giving away your energy. You've solved problems, answered emails, taken care of family members. You've worried about money. You've rushed from one obligation to the next. You've ignored your own needs because there simply wasn't time. And now it's 10 p.m. and you feel starved. The house is finally quiet. Nobody needs anything from you for the next few minutes, for the next few hours, hopefully. And suddenly you find yourself craving something sweet, something rich, something comforting, something that gives you an instant boost. Most women immediately think, here we go back again. I have just no discipline. But what if that has nothing to do with discipline at all? What if your body is simply trying to get energy? Because let's be honest, exhaustion and hunger often feel surprisingly similar. When your energy reserves are depleted, your body naturally begins searching for ways to replenish them. And food is one of the fastest forms of energy available. It's just a simple fact. In other words, your body is not stupid. It's trying to solve a problem by giving you some cravings, some particular cravings. The problem is that the solution it chooses often creates another problem later, but that's not your body's issue, your body's concern. Your body's concern is to help you survive right now. And that's where women get stuck because the food provides a temporary lift. For a little while, you feel better, you feel calmer, more comfortable, more energized, less empty, satisfied, less overwhelmed. But eventually the effect fades while the exhaustion remains. So the next day, the cycle repeats. And because the cycle repeats, many women conclude that they have a food problem. Yet when I listen to their stories, what I hear is so often something very different. I hear exhaustion, burnout, overwhelm, stress, worries. I hear women who have been carrying the weight of entire families for years, relationships, jobs, and responsibilities while receiving very little support themselves. And honestly, if we were to remove the food from the equation for a moment, most of us would immediately recognize that these women need rest, support, space, breathing room, kindness, and permission to stop carrying the world just for a little while. The problem is that many women don't know how to receive those things. We're better at giving. They know how to give, how to help, how to take care of others, but receiving support often feels uncomfortable. Receiving? What's that? To many women, rest often feels lazy and comes with guilt. Doing nothing often feels irresponsible and comes with guilt. And so they continue pushing day after day, week after week, year after year, until eventually the body begins demanding payment. Thank goodness. It's a symptom, as an alarm signal of your body you should really listen to. Because now, one of the things I find fascinating is that women are often incredibly compassionate toward other women in these very situations. They recognize other women's patterns very well. If your best friend told you she was exhausted, overwhelmed, stressed, and running on empty, you probably wouldn't tell her to be more disciplined. You probably wouldn't tell her to work harder, to ignore her needs. No, you would tell her to rest, to take care of herself. You would tell her that she's carrying too much, that she may need a spa weekend or a vacation. And yet, when it comes to ourselves, we often apply a completely different standard. We expect ourselves to keep going no matter what. Just this one single task more. Just one more hour, one more day, just a little bit longer, a little bit more. And then we wonder why our bodies are begging for energy. This is why I can see it time and time again that many women are fighting the wrong battle. Food. They're trying to eliminate the symptom without understanding the message. They're trying to stop eating without asking why they're so exhausted in the first place, and thus they become even more exhausted when they stop eating. They're trying to control the behavior while ignoring the condition that created that behavior, and that rarely works for very long, actually can't work for long, because if the exhaustion remains, the need remains. And if the need remains, the behavior often returns doubly and triply. I don't know, is doubly and triply a word? Doubly and triply as strong. Now, does that mean every craving is caused by exhaustion? No, human beings are more complex than that. But I do believe that many women would benefit from asking a different question. Instead of asking, why can't I stop eating? What if you asked, why am I so tired? Can you feel the difference? One question focuses on the behavior, the other focuses on the experience underneath the behavior. And often that's where the answers live. Because sometimes the body isn't asking for less food. Sometimes it's asking for more support, more rest, more balance. Ladies, sometimes it's asking for a life that no longer requires heroic amounts of effort just to get through the day. And the beautiful thing is that once you begin listening to those messages, your relationship with food starts changing naturally. Not because you're forcing it or because you're using more willpower, but because you're finally addressing what the body has been trying to tell you all along. What a tremendous relief for your body. So if you've been blaming yourself for stress eating, emotional eating, or late night cravings, I want you to consider the possibility that there is nothing wrong with you. I know you have been told that. I'm telling you something different. Perhaps your body has simply been trying to find energy in the only way it currently knows how. And perhaps the next step isn't more discipline. Perhaps the next step is more compassion toward yourself, more curiosity, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit more rest. If this conversation resonates with you, I would love to invite you into our free Women Beyond Weight group, where women come together to explore a kinder, gentler, and more effective path toward weight loss and weight freedom. You belong here. This is the space for you. You find the link below, and I hope to see you there. Take care, happy slimming, and bye for now.